Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Macro Mondays by this crypto dip is the title for today's stream. And in my opinion, this dip is a great opportunity for buying, guys. I personally think that, the markets are bullish. It's clearly bullish. I'm going to go into why, things are bullish at the moment and why this dip is actually for buying. And we're most likely going to see higher prices. So let's start off with Bitcoin. Of course, this is the trade that I'm looking at, guys. And what we must remember, even though, people are getting bearish and scared, is that there's nothing bearish about this. Okay, there's nothing bearish about this. This is bullish. Okay, why is it bullish? Well, the previous week, if we go to the weekly time frame, this was the highest weekly close ever. This close here was the second highest weekly close ever. So there's nothing bearish about the highest and second highest weekly close. Yes, there is a bearish engulfing over there, but what you must understand is it hasn't taken out the bottom or the top range. And in my opinion, there could be a liquidity sweep here, which is going to be a great buying opportunity. So we're going to go into that on the daily time frame. It is looking bullish. I'm going to go into the Bitcoin levels, guys, the key levels at the moment over here. So obviously we had this low over here, which we absolutely nailed. We got all in on this big bullish engulfing candle. We had the breakout and I said, guys, buy this dip. And as soon as we broke above the EMAs and confirmed the bull cross, the break of structure, it was off to the races, and all-time high was the call, which happened very, very, very soon after that, guys. And we have to have a pullback. We have to have a pullback. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to put on my Fibonacci. There we go. There's the Fibonacci from the bottom of the move to the top, the 50% level and the 382. Okay, this is a very strong move. Okay, of course it's strong. Very aggressive move to the upside. We haven't actually had a pullback. It's been up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up. And now it looks like we are getting the start of that pullback, guys. This is a pullback. This is a lower low relative to this low over here. So we are going to see most likely lower levels in the short term, guys. The short term, we might come down. But these are the important levels, guys. The first important level is obviously 100K, okay? Huge resistance here. You can see a resistance. We broke through, chopped around, support. This is a huge level over here, okay? We broke that level, tested as support. So this is most likely going to be support if tested, okay? And this is the 50-day EMA, okay? 50-day EMA lines up with the 100K zone right over there. So this is a very key zone for Bitcoin and a high probability bounce zone, okay? Another level that I'm looking at, which will scare a lot of people, it will scare a lot of retail traders, is this level over here, okay? This zone over here, 97.6K. That is the 382 Fibonacci, guys. Remember, when we have extremely aggressive moves to the upside, they only come down to the 382, and you only get that bounce of the 382. This is the bare minimum pullback, in my opinion, guys. So, the 382 is a very, very, very high likelihood level to be tagged. So my buy zone at the moment will be this zone over here. I think this is a great zone to be buying up Bitcoin. A nice bounce of the 382 is a high probability trade, guys. And I don't see us coming down to the 200-day EMA. Remember, when we do get a breakout, we do just ride this move for a while. If we get a breakout, could slip down below the 50, something like that, and get a move. So just take a look at this, guys. We went up, sideways, up, down, came down a little bit, and then off we go. And if we take the Fibonacci for this move over here, I haven't actually looked at this yet, guys, so we're going to find out right now. If we take this Fibonacci over here, I'm just going to reverse this for you guys, something like that. You see that we came perfectly to the 382. Okay, we came to the 382. We wicked slightly below. That was just below the 50-day EMA. We didn't come down to the 50% level, and we didn't come down to the 200-day EMA. Remember that the side is obviously black, looks like this in the moment. So we can look for something similar like that, in my opinion. So look, big move up, grind to the upside, move up, sideways, up, down, start the kind of bearish looking market structure. RSI comes to about 35. So just remember these RSI levels over here. Okay, so let's look at what we have currently. Okay, move up, sideways, up, down, start the bearish looking market structure. What's below us? Well, there's the 50-day EMA and there's the 382 Fibonacci. Okay, so I think that, if we do have some scary news, this is going to be a huge buying opportunity, guys. This zone over here is going to be huge for Bitcoin and crypto. I'm personally going to be opening up big longs, and I think this is the last little pullback before we get that move to the upside. And remember, guys, what happened last time? Okay, got bought up quickly, price came up, started chopping above the 50, boom. So look for this pattern, guys. If we get it moved down to the 382, come up, claim the 50-day EMA again, it's most likely just going to take off from there. So let's wait for something like that to play out. So this is my buy zone. I'm already in a few longs at the moment, a little bit in the red. I am building longs at the moment as we are clearly in bullish market structure. So pullbacks are for buying, guys. Pullbacks are for buying. So let's wait and see what happens, guys. But for now, this is resistance. This was resistance. Looks like we have just, almost deviated above that as well. That is also a bearish way to look at it, is this is a deviation and we're going to come to the bottom of the range. I don't think that is the case. I think, these opportunities are for buying. So this is my plan for Bitcoin at the moment. Buy this crypto dip, of course, guys. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance, because that's going to tell us, are we going into altcoins or are we going into Bitcoin for this move? And in my opinion, I think altcoins are a really good opportunity at the moment. So we've had this upsloping support over here. We broke down, tested it as resistance. Looks like we are building, some kind of bearish divergence here, creating higher highs over here. But no momentum building over here, guys. Remember that if the RSI is flat and price is going up, that is also a bearish divergence, guys. So as soon as this breaks down again, it is going to be looking good for the altcoin. So I would be putting this over here. If Bitcoin dominance can take out this level over here, then it is going to be looking pretty good. We've got to break this level, and there are lots of levels to break down, guys. So altcoins looking really good. I mean, Bitcoin dominance at 64%. I think that things are looking good. Let's have a look at Ethereum quickly, because I did exit my Ethereum position. This is looking really, really good in my opinion. We are holding this level up, this 200-day EMA over there. Are we going to come down and get another wick to the 50-day EMA? Maybe. It'll look like a double top then. The bears will be coming out. If we start to break this level, grab some liquidity over there, everyone will be saying double top, double top, double top. Time to get out, and that's probably the time to get in. But remember, guys, that we can be very patient with Ethereum, because the level to get above for Ethereum, I've been saying this for months, guys. I've been saying this since over here. We took longs from 1800 over here, got this nice leg up. And I said we can be very patient with Ethereum, because what we want to see is multiple daily closes above 2,750. This is what we want to see, guys. If we can close multiple daily candles above 2,750, that is where we're going to be aping in, guys, aping into Ethereum. Of course, we said this is a very high probability rejection zone. This was our TP coming into the 50% level. You have to treat the 50% level as resistance. Okay, so definitely watch out for this. So if you are conservative, then you can be waiting for Ethereum to reclaim 2,750. And once that's happened, then you can start going for longs, of course, and you can long this position over here. Bang, stops will just go below this last low, and then obviously targeting all-time highs, giving us an okay risk to reward over there. If you are a bit more of an aggressive trader and you're looking to, nail the entry, in my opinion, you can be scaling into your Ethereum position in this zone over here. I think this is a very, very good zone. My bad, guys. A very, very good zone for scaling into Ethereum. I think that we can scare the markets and come down and test these lows again, 2,300. Remember, guys, there's this long upsloping support trend line over there, which we broke out. So we obviously broke down. We went straight back into it. We got a strong bounce off it. So this is the zone where you would expect another bounce. If it does come down to the zone over here, I would say that that is the move up. And a liquidity sweep over here would be looking good for Ethereum. So I would personally be longing the zone over here, 2,300. So I'd say between 2,300 and 2,500 is a great place to scale into your Ethereum long, guys. Great place. Where's your stop loss? Well, if you start closing multiple candles below the 50-day EMA, it is going to be looking a little bit more scary. And you can save some dry powder for another test of this trend line over here. Obviously, there's this trend line over here. We could come and see another bounce off that. If we break down, it's going to be looking really ugly. But for now, guys, remember that we can just cut our positions with a small loss if you do start to see bearish signs and symptoms like that. But this is a great zone to be longing Ethereum in my position, in my opinion. And building a position here is a decent idea. I think, I think this week we could see some downside, scare some participants a bit, get some of those longs liquidated, and then we can start building our position. We can have a look at the stable coin dominances, because those are coming into those fair value gaps. We have been talking about these fair value gaps for a while now. We have been very patient with the fair value gaps. So let's actually have a look at them straight away. So USDT dominance coming into the fair value gap, guys. We said that we are going to come into this fair value gap at some point. We came in a little bit over there before we made a lower low. Now we are back in this fair value gap. And guys, this is still bearish, okay? Even though it's moving to the upside, just note that we are testing this as resistance, okay? So this was the hammer. The second hammer was a potential move into 4.97. Okay, we said this is a very high probability chance for a big rejection. We only came a little bit into the fair value gap. Now it looks like what we're doing is we are coming a bit deeper into the fair value gap as expected. For now, we are getting rejected from that 50-day EMA to the downside, which is bullish for crypto, guys. So your USDT dominance trade would look something like this. Short this zone over here, basically longing altcoins, in my opinion. Stop loss would just go over there for now. If you start to close multiple candles above this 50% level, then it's going to be looking ugly, of course, and then obviously targeting the range low. That is your altcoin trade, guys. And you can take this trade, you can even put your stop loss over there if you are a little bit more aggressive with the leverage, of course. And look for something like this, guys. Look for a push-up. Look for lots of fear in the market. Take those altcoin trades, and don't use too much leverage, of course. And what you can use is USDT dominance and see, okay, should we be cutting our position or not? But for now, we're stuck below the 50% level. We're stuck below the 50-day EMA, and there's nothing bullish about this. Okay, this is bearish. USDT dominance is bearish, and we are getting that retest. And remember, when it is bearish, you should sell the rip. Okay, so it's bearish, get a little rip, sell the rip. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Okay, simple. USDC dominance. Okay, this hasn't quite broken the 50% level yet. Okay, however, it hasn't filled the fair value gap as deep as USDT dominance either. So we can actually see a push up over here before a push down. Okay, so come up into that 50-day EMA. This is going to be resistance, of course. The thing is, USDT dominance is way more bearish, in my opinion, than USDC dominance. This hasn't had the death cross yet. It isn't stuck below the 50% level. So definitely look out for this, guys. This isn't as bearish. In my opinion, this is more linked to Bitcoin and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana's, etc. Let me just need to make a bit more of a trend line. There's an argument of actually a breakout here, and this is linked to altcoins, guys. So we have broken down the momentum line. If we start to close multiple candles above the zone over here, then that is a place where we can look to cut those positions. Let's have a look at total. Remember, guys, this buy box. We spoke about this buy box between 3.2 and $3 trillion. This is where we should be going long, guys. Remember, don't forget the plan. Guys, remember the bearish headlines, the bearish this, the bearish that, everyone telling you this and that. Guys, look at the chart, take it easy, take it simple, take it from a simple point of view, of course, and look at this kind of setup, okay? This is the macro setup. Guys, when in doubt, zoom out. So this is the macro setup. So we said that from down here, guys, even in March and Feb, you guys can go back into the YouTube history. We said what we want to see is a breakout of this, reclaim the EMAs, and close multiple weekly candles above the 50% level of 3 trillion. The plan was for it to break out and then give us the bullish retest of 3 trillion. Okay, that was the plan. Now, it looks like the plan is playing out. Okay, we've obviously had that push up. And what you can see is, of course, we're going to slow down here, guys. Obviously, we're going to slow down. We're coming into this resistance over here, bearish divergence on the daily time frame. And we said that we're going to be buying the dip on that $3 to $3.2 trillion region, okay? So that is where we're going to be buying the dip. So this is the perfect opportunity, guys. Between now and $3 trillion is going to be the opportunity to be going long, okay? And is that going to be your Ethereum? Guys, this is a perfect long position for Ethereum. Solana, my long is a little bit underwater. Will I get stopped out of this? I don't know. I hope this bearish market structure doesn't break down. So this could be the buying opportunity. Obviously, this was a high probability trade, guys. So now we have closed a few candles underneath the EMAs. So, if you're looking to be a bit more conservative with this trade, you could just scale out a bit and wait for a reclaim of this. This would be your go. So I'm personally just going to stay in the trade. Normally, biting the bum by, cutting the position and doing this and doing that. This was the trade I took, and this is the trade I'm in. And if it's 1% of the account, guys, we make and lose 1% of the account very often. We are traders at the end of the day. So in my opinion, this is the chart that you want to be looking at, guys. Zoom out, daily time frame, risk reward of 6 to 1. If we lose this $2.8 trillion region, it's not going to be looking good. So definitely just look at this, guys. Keep it simple. Look at this. And remember, guys, 50% level. If we are in the upper half, we are in the strong half. Okay, strong half. ST for strong. Okay, so this is what you want to see. Price consolidating and getting pullbacks in the strong half of the trading range. Okay, guys, smash the like button, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And let's see some altcoin requests, guys. Drop some altcoin requests real quick. We're going to have a look at those, of course. And we can go from there. Okay, so Sol, long or short? Okay, well, at the moment, we just spoke about Solana. In my opinion, it's a bit more bullish than bearish. We can take out the Fibonacci from the recent move. So we have the lows and the highs. Here's the high. Here's the low. There we go. So currently, we're actually perfectly on the 382. The 382 is the strong bounce, okay? So this is where you get a strong bounce, the 382. So in my opinion, decent zone to be scaling into your Solana trade. And if you haven't taken the trade yet, there's an opportunity like that, which looks pretty good. Obviously, the bigger the risk reward, the less likely this to happen. But if you are looking for Solana long, you could wait for a reclaim of this and then enter the long like this. This would be my personal advice, guys. Wait for a reclaim of 162 and then take the trade. Okay, lots of altcoin requests, guys. Let's go through them quickly. Should we buy more Ondo or more Sui? That's a good question. Okay, these are my two biggest positions. So look at Sui. Sui's looking pretty good for a load up, guys. Sui's looking really good for a buy. Here we are. That is Sui over there. Okay, so Sui not as strong as the rest. Sui normally tops before the rest. Just notice that, guys. Notice that. As long as Sui is above $3, it's looking really good. You got the 50% level and the 200-day EMA both lining up there. So I think this is a really good place for Sui. I am really bullish on Sui. I do see Sui at $7. I do see this happening. And if it gets hectic, I do see that happening. So that is my, Sui, in my opinion. Where will I be selling my Sui? Well, there's a 140% move there and a 248% move there. So look at Ondo. Ondo is getting smashed, I think. It is getting rinsed. Okay, so a little bit underwater here. My targets for Ondo are $3. That is a target of mine. 280 odd percent. I'm personally spot long here, guys. Mainly spot long. I do have a leverage long. This is the trade for the leverage trade over here. I don't think this low is going to be taken out, so my stop loss is there, guys. If this low gets taken out, then we can reevaluate. We have to be a bit more patient, but spot long is king for something like this. Just give it time, fundamentally bullish. Just remember that, you know, it normally goes sideways for about 100 days. Okay, so we're on about 80 odd days. So this is what you got to look at, guys. Have a look here. Okay, so this went sideways for, sorry guys, I don't know why it's, there we go. 99 days that went sideways, and sideways, you know, you can even take it from here. Then about 90, 100 days, you know, give and take 10%, 110 days. Worst case from this zone over here, you know, I'd say worst case, you are looking for a move up towards the end of June. So great time to be buying Ondo, guys. This is the kind of thing that you have to be looking at, guys. Stuff like this, sideways for 100 days, and then all-time high. Okay, so what's going to happen next? Well, sideways for 100 days, maybe all-time high. Just remember that Ondo, BlackRock, fundamentally bullish in a narrative such as RWA for the big players. They're going to want to be accumulating this, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is going to zero. But personally, Ondo is a great buy, in my opinion, if you are dollar cost averaging into something that you're looking to hold, and, you know, just give it the test of time. You know, if you give anything time, you normally get rewarded. But time is key, guys. Patience. So Ondo or Sui, I'd probably go for Ondo. Just because it's getting smashed, 82 cents. You know, looking good. I remember actually buying Sui at 82 cents. Maybe 80 odd cents is a good long. So look at Virtual, because Virtual has been ripping to the upside. Obviously, you know, big pumps are going to have big pullbacks, of course. So here's a big pump, huge pump, 450%. Can't really sneeze at that. Take out the Fibonacci over here. Didn't quite hit the 50% level, so potentially more to the upside over there. If we put on the 618 as well, looks like we got rejected from that. So let's take that off. And, you know, where would I be buying this? Well, 50-day EMA looks pretty good in my opinion. Key level over here as well. Super key level, lots of accumulation for the next leg up over here. Bang, lost the level, resistance, fight, broke through. So this is a key level for Virtual. You know, you could get a pullback, look for a move up here. Of course, expect resistance at that 50% level, and as you move on. But this is looking like a market leader, guys. This is looking like a market leader. So definitely keep Virtual on your, you know, watch list. So look at Litecoin. Haven't looked at this thing. Litecoin. Yeah, I mean, bit of a push up. We did want to see this level hold, guys. This is a key level over here. If you are a Litecoin bull, you want to see this get reclaimed. And you know, if you are looking for a Litecoin trade, if you can only trade Litecoin, then push up, pull back into the EMAs, stop below this low. You know, if the low is lower, then you can be there. And then ultimately targeting that line over there, which I think is the macro 50% level. So that is the kind of trade you'd be looking for. Of course, this is technically bullish market structure. This has been holding up quite well, actually. So this is the trade that I'd be looking for Litecoin. Push up, reclaim that, you know, 80, sorry, 90, I'd say $95. If you can start to close weekly candles, $95, then I think it's looking good. Okay, we did have a look at Ondo and Sui. We just looked at Ondo and Sui, guys. Have a look at ADA quickly. Yeah, same thing, guys. We want to see a reclaim of the EMA and then a push up. That's what we want to see, guys. You know, you'd hope this level does hold. It is a key level at the end of the day. Zone over here. Want to see the zone hold. Otherwise, yeah, there are more bullish charts. Pepe and Chainlink. Let's look at Chainlink. I am in a Chainlink long. Yeah, I did think this level was going to hold for a push up. Head and shoulders playing out, of course, only invalidated below the shoulder. So we're still in the trade. By the skin of our teeth, we're still in this trade, guys. This is the level that we wanted to stay above. We wanted to stay above this level. Maybe we get stopped out, guys. It is part of the game. Remember that it is part of the game. Yeah, but for now, you know, I wouldn't be longing this now. Of course, very dodgy. Where's your point? I mean, if you're looking for this trade up here, that's a bit better. You know, nice risk reward of 3.8 to 1 there. TP1, TP2. If you are looking for a link trade, this would be a good trade. If you are in the trade with me, then just wait. You know, it is what it is. Let it do its thing, guys. Let it do its thing. Pepe. Let's look at Pepe. Pepe is holding up quite well. Okay. So obviously a massive dump on Friday, perfectly into the EMAs. So, you know, this is a zone that you should probably get a nice bounce out of. So if you're looking for a Pepe long, specifically a Pepe long, only in Pepe, then, you know, you can get a trade out of here, stop over there. But I am looking at this zone over here, thinking that you could easily get a test of the zone. Easy. So if you are looking for a Pepe long, you can long the zone over here. If you are conservative, you could wait for a move down and a reclaim, and then this would be your conservative trade. Stop below there, and then off you go. This would be the money move. So personally, the money moves over there, and of course, you know, whilst total potentially comes into the buy box, these are going to be the tokens that we're looking for, guys. Lots of tokens to look at. Of course. Okay, let's have a look at the macros, guys. Let's have a look at like the dollar. The dollar's coming down a bit there, which, you know, we do expect for the last blow off top in the TradFi and crypto market. We do expect the dollar to do this. Okay, we do want the dollar to do this. The dollar needs to fall, guys. The dollar needs to get crushed, because, you know, if the dollar comes down here, this would be a good place for a, you know, potential market top. You know, the other crypto top was 2021, right? This was in the zone over here. So we'd want to see the fall in the dollar, because if the dollar is weak, then everything priced against the dollar is strong, right? If we're comparing something to anything and the anything's getting weaker, then the something is getting stronger by doing nothing, right? If they are being compared. So a weakening dollar is bullish for risk on assets. Okay, remember that, guys. So falling dollar, bullish. And this is, of course, bearish market structure for the dollar. We absolutely nailed this, by the way. We call this deviation with the bearish divergence, looking for a move to the bottom of the range and then breaking down. So we absolutely nailed that. We did think that we'll probably get more of a rip. But looking at the S&P 500, strong. Okay, V-shaped recovery, huge V-shaped recovery, above the 50% level, above the important EMAs, above this key top of, you know, 5,700, and anything that comes into this zone over here is a good long opportunity. So if we do get another pullback, then we are looking for some serious longs. Boom, off we go. So guys, V-shaped recovery, nothing bearish about a V-shaped recovery. But let's see, guys, let's see. A lot of confusion in the markets at the moment. Gold's having another move up. You know, everything is volatile at the moment. So obviously trade with caution. Trade with caution. So what's MicroStrategy doing here? So MicroStrategy, of course, had this breakout over here. And we said, because MicroStrategy is breaking out, Bitcoin is going to break out. And that's exactly what happened. Remember, MicroStrategy has been a leading indicator. It called this move. It's called this move up here. And of course, Bitcoin making a higher high, or MicroStrategy not making a higher high, is a bit of a cause for concern. You know, if we put it on the line chart, does paint a better picture. Of course, all the volatility, you know, in November. But, you know, this is a lower high technically, which isn't a great sign. But let's see, guys. So MicroStrategy really does want to get above the 50% level. Nice little retest, getting strong bounce off the 50-day EMA. If the 50-day EMA isn't on your chart, I don't know what to say anymore, guys. 50-day EMA, so many bounces off that level. So what you want to see now is a reclaim of the 50% level. Then, you know, you could have a long, if you only trade TradFi, this would be your long, something like that, on MicroStrategy. But if you are trading altcoins and crypto like me, then you'd wait for that reclaim, and this would be a big long opportunity, guys. Massive long opportunity for crypto markets. If MicroStrategy gets above there, longing Bitcoin would be a good idea. Nvidia also had a nice move up over there. Of course, beat earnings and revenue. I think that's why we got that run on something like virtuals, guys. But the TradFi is not looking bad. Dollar's looking weak. S&P is looking good, along with the Nasdaq above those key levels. Guys, nothing bearish. Nothing bearish. VIX has come down to the zone over here. Got rejected over here. Huge sign. This is huge. Huge for the boys, of course. Now stuck below the 200-day EMA. So now we're expecting a move to the downside. And guys, we spoke about this. When the VIX is grinding at the bottom over here, grinding in these zones over here, this is when you get big moves in the stock market. So what you'd want to see is for the VIX to drop off down here and start to consolidate over here. This is going to be very bullish for crypto and stocks. So VIX grinding at the bottom there, bullish for crypto and stocks. So that's what we want to see, guys. That's exactly what we want to see. Bitcoin weekly time frame, bullish. First white candle. We just opened the candle. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Let's see how it looks at the end of the week. But remember that even though we got the bearish engulfing, it hasn't taken out the low. So if we take this low out, then it will be looking a little bit more scary. Liquidity quickly, guys. Remember that a lot of players over here are going short. A lot of players going short over here. A lot of liquidity to the upside over here. Of course, a little bit of liquidity to the downside. Liquidity at 100K. So I think this 100K to 97K key level. Liquidity to the upside though. So guys, remember, we're going to play to the liquidity. Liquidity over here as well. Now if we zoom in on we're going to look at the lower term time frame. But just remember, guys, there is liquidity to the top side of the range. And this is the target, guys. All-time highs. A lot of players are short. It's a bit of a no-brainer at the moment, guys. So I hope you guys get the point. Nothing really bearish about the price of Bitcoin at the moment. So from a macro point of view, of course, if you're day trading on the 15-minute chart, it is a downtrend. But daily, weekly is pointing up. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed that Macro Monday. Buy the dip, of course. Buy the dip, in my opinion. Look at total. If you're scared, just look at total, guys. This is the biggest risk reward. This is the easiest time, easiest time to get in. Easy stop loss. Obviously, don't go all in. Don't be that guy. But cheers, guys, and we'll see you later.